All right. Cody Garbrandt being in the co-main event. It is absolutely just wow where his career has gone. And it feels like every time he fights now, he's one fight away from like bare knuckle FC. And you know what? UFC 207 was quite a while ago. Man, but you look at where he was. The first guy to really dethrone Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz, the champion that never lost his belt before by a fight. Only through freak injury after freak injury where he had to vacate and then come back against TJ Dillashaw. And then Cody gets the belt. We know the story. TJ beats him twice, and I think that fight series broke him. Like something inside of him was never the same after that. Lost to Pedro Munoz, went down to flyweight, fought Kaikar France. That didn't really work out. He beat Rafael Sunsao before then, but it just kind of seemed like he was battling with the reality of how fast the sport's going to move on with these new athletes. How fast eventually someone else is going to come up, take him on, And, the guy who he's fighting has a decent record, so you can't necessarily say he's going to be fighting a journeyman, so to speak, mainly a guy who's looking for that uptick in competition, like the biggest test of his career. So Cody Garbrandt can very well lose on Saturday. Let's just accept that reality. I'm not saying I hope he is. I don't know if he's going to. In fact, I would love to see him get his hand raised once again or, go out on a win. Even if he were to win on Saturday, I would be very comfortable with him throwing in his gloves and saying, okay, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm not at my thing anymore. But I've never seen such a downfall from inspirational story to a guy who's basically lost to his own demons. He's always, it's his mentality that has really gotten him in his trouble, his temper. You say the slightest thing to him, before you know it, he's grabbing you by the neck and physically assaulting you. It's crazy. And at one point you feel bad, but at the same time you understand that this guy, his temper has gotten him into a lot of these situations. He could have beaten Pedro Munoz, but Pedro Munoz was so patient from the get-go that as soon as Cody Garbrandt started losing his patience, he starts shooting for a flying knee. He starts going for all these crazy things. He starts seeing red and starts going all out, trying to get something, and Pedro just capitalizes and times something and puts him out. So to see him here, and usually when it comes to like the tin cans they usually throw at him before he was fighting Deiveson Figueiredo, where he had a couple wins, he was fighting guys who already had one foot out the door in the UFC. So looking at who he's fighting, and whenever he fights someone who is a gained opponent or up there in the rankings, he usually falls short. Like I had a feeling that Deiveson Figueiredo was going to finish him in the second round by a submission. It was just the MMA math added up that night. But now it's like if he's not fighting someone who absolutely has no real business staying in the UFC for any championship stuff, then I guess you could say that his career is, definitely at the last ends of the wind down. I'm glad he's getting a co-main event. He's always been a prelims guy now for a while. So, you know what? They're giving him something worth fighting with, Obviously, he's the defender for his spot or his status, and some guys coming to try and take it, and that's the co-main. Sure, it's on a Vegas card, not a pay-per-view, because every time it's a pay-per-view, the UFC pulls him down to the prelims for some reason, which is sad. But it's just amazing. You look at a long time ago, which was over 100 pay-per-views ago, and it has been a long fall from the top. A lot of the fan fantasy, like the fantasy matchups of Conor McGregor versus Cody Garbrandt at featherweight, he actually was in a conversation that crazy at one point. because he showed his best self and just had fun in there, but he forgot to have fun a long time ago. And if he doesn't have fun on Saturday night, I think we might actually see the last chapter in the Garbrandt saga. And it's going to be a very, not even sweet, but just bitter for actual fans of the UFC who appreciate what the guy's done for the sport, but are also in his corner saying, hey, dude, you got to get right in the head right now, or else, you might be in PFL or BKFC soon. But every Cody Garbrandt fight feels like this now. But peace out. See you later.